Denys, speaking in general terms, can we consider the police reform successful? We of course would have to talk about the patrol police and the rest separately, but can we already make some verdicts?
From what I see, the reform in the way it should be done has not yet started. We're still waiting, and not just the ordinary Ukrainians, but our partners in the European Union too. But this requires some serious willpower and going to very dangerous places, especially for the Interior Ministry.
What needs doing? If you've been following this, what do we need to pay attention to?
Every job has to start with a serious independent audit process. The resources need to be calculated, how they're being used, and how reasonable is the budget allocated by the Parliament to the police sector, how willing the Parliament is to cooperate. That would help us understand where the system is failing us and where it might be about to fail us. The results of this audit process need to be known to Ukraine's taxpayers, maybe not in full, but for the most part, most of it.
Has there not been such an audit?
Not to my knowledge. I only heard about the audit that is being carried out in Lviv region. That's the only one. And the police there have undergone a reform and achieved the most success.
Today's Ukrainian society exists in two extremes, betrayal and victory. There are some people in the patrol police who are not satisfied, but we know for sure that there are also people who are trying to do something to change the system from within. Is it possible to make a judgment on whether the reform is heading in the right direction?
In defense of the old Ukrainian militia, it has been overly demonized when the new police were being implemented. The officers of this new patrol police went through the same path as any police or militia recruit before them. 90% of them arrive with gleaming eyes. Most of them do not want to abuse their power or partake in corrupt schemes. They just want to serve and protect. But the system changed them. It's the same for the officers of the new patrol police. Those who do not want to bend to the system quit.
Does anyone stay and fight the system?
Some stay, but I did not witness any strong fighting. There was one case when some female patrol police officers in Hromadske fought for their rights when their boss discriminated against them. But the system itself did not change. They've put new faces instead of old ones. But these people are now struggling because throughout the 2 years the reform has been in action, they have been facing the same old problems.
What happens after the audit process?
The decentralization of the system needs to take place. The system is very centralized and is de facto governed by a small group of people. People practically serve their bosses instead of serving the society whom they should be serving. If the head of the police is from Kiev, he will be looking to fulfill the expectations of his Kiev-based leadership. He will pick some deputies who will look up to him. The deputies will then pick their leaders. And that's how the pyramid is built, where everyone has their eyes set on the Ukrainian capital, while they should actually be looking at ordinary citizens living all over Ukraine.
I once talked to a lawyer, an ideologist of the police reform that took place in Georgia during Prime Minister Zurab's life. So after the Rose Revolution in 2003, he studied the Western experience and started it in the same way. The idea was to have a show-off, demonstrative kind of reform of the patrol police that would be approved by the nation, therefore earn some trust credit. After obtaining this trust credit, you can put pressure on the most sensitive topic, the rest of the Interior Ministry, where things are much trickier. But he complained that they never got to stage B, the most important stage. What can you say about the decorative element of changes in Ukraine?
Yes, there was such a decorative element. Of course, everyone was in euphoria, beautiful cars, beautiful young people. There was a lot of information about how objectively they acted. But it wasn't used to the fullest extent in order to change the rest. A lot of time has been wasted, and we didn't address the key moments.
Okay, so the audit process, then decentralization, then what?
Creating an independent system of collection and analysis of complaints about the police's actions would be an important change in compliance with the global standards. The police officers, and especially their leadership, virtually live in a different world, a world of commands from the top, different operations, shady schemes, and corruption. This world is very different from the values they claim to have and from the problems of ordinary people. If they wanted to file a complaint about the police not taking a particular action or behaving abnormally, it would not go anywhere. Everyone knows that complaining about the police to the police is a waste of time. You can also complain to the prosecutor's office, but that's a vicious circle. The prosecutor's office would forward the inquiry to the police department that deals with the personnel or internal security. That's pointless too. It's a closed system. It personally deals with the complaints about itself.
And who is to deal with the reform? The minister?
Yes, first and foremost the minister. Especially looking at the role of our interior minister, Ukraine has never seen such an independent interior minister like we have now. He has the resources for major influence. In my opinion, he can talk to the president on equal terms, and had he wanted to, he could have moved reform mountains.
What's stopping him?
Maybe he doesn't have enough willpower or has a different vision. I can't say everything is going badly. There are positive aspects. Some of them are the little changes to the police's work and some positive experience in different regions of Ukraine.